Do you know how dangerous ticks are for your dog? Most people think of them as a seasonal nuisance, something you pull off your dog after a hike and move on. But ticks are far more dangerous than that, and the diseases they carry can be deadly if undetected. We're walking through every major tick species in the US that threatens your dog, what diseases each one spreads, warning signs to watch for, and what you can do to protect your pup starting right now. Let's kick things off with the American dog tick, also known scientifically as Dermacentor variabilis, because this one is probably the tick most American dog owners have actually seen in real life. It's widespread across the eastern US and parts of the Pacific coast, large enough to spot without squinting, and is the primary carrier of Rocky Mountain spotted fever in dogs. Despite the name, most US cases actually occur in North Carolina, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Missouri. So if you live in those states and your dog spends any time outdoors, this is not a far-off concern. Rocky Mountain spotted fever causes fever, lethargy, joint pain, and in severe cases, hemorrhaging under the skin. It progresses fast, days, not weeks. The American dog tick also transmits tularemia, a serious bacterial infection. Your actionable tip: if your dog develops a sudden fever and seems profoundly exhausted within days of outdoor activity, don't wait for a scheduled appointment. Call your vet and tell them your dog may have had tick exposure. Early antibiotic treatment is the difference between a full recovery and a serious crisis. Okay, now we're getting to the one that gets the most media attention, the black-legged tick, which most people know as the deer tick, and its scientific name is Ehrlichiosis scapularis. This is the primary vector for Lyme disease in the eastern US, and its cousin Ehrlichiosis pacificus carries it on the west coast. Here's what makes the deer tick genuinely terrifying. It is tiny, poppy seed tiny in its nymph stage, smaller than a freckle, and it only needs to be attached for around 36 to 48 hours to transmit Lyme disease, so if you're only checking your dog every couple of days, that window closes before you ever know. Lyme disease in dogs is different from humans. Dogs rarely get the classic bullseye rash. Instead, you'll see lameness that shifts from leg to leg, fever, swollen joints, and a general reluctance to move around. You know, this is super serious. And it's got to be really hard for our dogs. They're in pain and they can't explain why. And we can miss it so easily because they try to push through it. Chronic Lyme in dogs can lead to kidney failure, which is called Lyme nephritis, and it can be fatal. There is actually a Lyme vaccine for dogs. Ask your vet if it makes sense for your region and lifestyle. Your actionable tip: do a full tick check every time your dog comes inside. Focus on behind the ears, between the toes, under the collar, and in the groin. Use a fine tooth comb or your fingers running through the coat methodically. Here's a tick that's been quietly expanding its range and doesn't get nearly enough attention. The lone star tick, Amblyomma americanum. You can identify it by the single white dot on the female's back, which looks kind of cool, but don't be charmed. Unlike most ticks that wait for a host to brush past, lone star ticks actively pursue their targets. They sense carbon dioxide and heat and move toward it. In dogs, this tick transmits Ehrlichiosis, a bacterial infection attacking white blood cells. In the acute phase, dogs show fever, lethargy, swollen lymph nodes, and nosebleeds. Caught here, doxycycline treatment is very effective, but if missed, it enters a chronic phase that suppresses the immune system long-term, causing anemia, weight loss, and organ failure. The lone star tick is also linked to starry, or southern tick-associated rash illness. Your actionable tip: if you're in the southeast, mid-Atlantic, or Midwest, basically the entire eastern half of the country, lone star ticks are on the table year-round in warmer areas. Talk to your vet about NexGard, Simparica, or Bravecto, all of which are FDA-approved tick preventives that have been shown to be effective against lone star ticks specifically. Now this next one is, okay, wait, I need to make sure I get this right. The Gulf Coast tick, Amblyomma maculatum. I was about to say it's mostly just an irritant. No, actually, that's completely wrong. It's a significant disease vector, and I don't want to undersell it. The Gulf Coast tick is responsible for transmitting hepatozoon americanum, which causes a disease called American hepatozoonosis. Unlike most tick-borne diseases that spread through a bite, this one spreads when a dog ingests an infected tick during grooming. The parasite invades muscle tissue and white blood cells, causing severe muscle pain, fever, eye discharge, and a hunched posture because moving hurts so much. Treatment is difficult and often lifelong. The Gulf Coast tick is found primarily along the Gulf Coast states and into Oklahoma and Kansas. Your actionable tip: do the tick check yourself and remove ticks before your dog can groom them off. Prevention here is literally just doing the check. And finally, the newest tick threat in the United States. The Asian longhorned tick, Haemaphysalis longicornis, first detected in New Jersey in 2017 and now spread to over 20 states. Here's what makes this tick uniquely alarming. It reproduces parthenogenetically, meaning females can clone themselves without mating. A single tick can establish an entire population. The Asian longhorn tick is capable of infesting a dog in numbers that cause severe blood loss and anemia on its own, independent of any disease transmission. And in Asia, where this tick originates, it is a known vector for severe fever, with thrombocytopenia syndrome, a potentially fatal viral illness. That specific virus hasn't been confirmed in US ticks yet, but researchers are actively monitoring it, and that situation can change. I can't even imagine how unsettling it must be to find dozens or even hundreds of these ticks on a single dog, which has been documented in US livestock. By the way, if you find this kind of information valuable, please hit that subscribe button and help Dr. Buddy Explains. Keep getting this content to dog owners who need it. Your actionable tip: if you're in the northeastern US or mid-Atlantic and you find an unusual tick that you don't recognize, one that's small, oval, and reddish-brown with no distinctive markings, photograph it and contact your local extension office or veterinarian. Tracking this tick's spread matters. Here's the bigger picture. No tick preventive replaces the daily check. Products like Bravecto, Simparica Trio, NexGard Spectra, and K9 Advantix 2 are all strong options your vet can help you choose. But they work best as part of a system of prevention, awareness, and acting fast when something seems off. Tick season is no longer just summer. In much of the US, ticks are active whenever temperatures are above freezing. The ASPCA and CDC both recommend year-round tick prevention for dogs, and after everything we covered today, it's easy to see why. Thank you so much for sticking through this whole video. This stuff genuinely matters. If it helped, give it a thumbs up and share it with another dog owner. Subscribe to Dr. Buddy Explains if you haven't yet, ring the bell, and drop your next topic idea in the comments. I read everyone. Take care of those pups. They need us paying attention, and we've got them. See you in the next one.